Okay, here's your second warm-up question, a little bit more advanced. The question says, draw 2 2/5%, write it as a fraction, write it as a decimal. And we all agreed that 2 2/5% can also be written as 2.4%. And the way we do that is we knew that this was 2 and a fraction of a percent, 2/5. To find out what 2/5 is a decimal, take your numerator, or as some people say, your top number, divide it by your bottom number, or as other people say, your denominator, and you get decimal 4. So therefore, these two fractions are the same thing. So we're gonna have that written down just to start, because it is a good reference point as we go through this. So as far as drawing goes, this percentage is always the better one to use for our drawings, right, Calvin? Correct. So I'm going to take my hundreds grid, and I'm going to bring it up. Oh, not there. Bring it up here. And how many squares am I going to shade in fully? Anybody? 2 of them. So 2 of them are shaded in fully. That's the 2%. And 2/5, is it going to be more than half of the next square or a little bit less than half? A little bit less than half. I'll take this square, bring it over here to magnify it. 4 lines make 5 parts. Shade in 2 of them. And this picture here represents 2 2/5%, or 2.4%. Okay. And what is decimal 4 if I read 2.4%? That's 2 4/10, right? 2 4/10. And as we can see, if I was to cut these into equal parts again, I haven't changed the amount of urine in that box or lemonade, but it does say 4/10 now, doesn't it? So 2 2/5% and 2 4/10 are the same thing, and we can see that clearly when we add those extra lines. If we think of it as a fraction, since it's a percentage, it could be written as a fraction out of 100. So 2.4% would be 2.4 out of 100, or 24 out of 1,000. That's our fraction part. How do I change that to a decimal? I just read it. What number is that? 24 thousandths. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. That's 24 thousandths. Okay? So your first part of your advanced warm-up question was draw it, write it as a fraction, write it as a decimal. The second part says, what is 2 2/5% of 1,500? And we learned how to do it 2 different ways, right, Gavin? We know how to do it mentally. Do you remember how to get 1% of a number? Move the decimal twice. So what would 1% be of $1,500? If you moved it 2 spots, it'd be $15. What would 2% be? You double it. It's $30. So far, mentally, we've calculated 2% of $1,500. Now we have to figure out 2/5%. But since we already said 2/5% is the same thing as 4/10%, how do I get 1/10%? What's the rule for that one? Move the decimal 3 places. So once, twice, 3 places. So once, twice, 3 places. How much money is 1/10%? $1.50. $1.50. $1.50. So how much would 4/10 be, which apparently is equal to the 4/10% or 2/5% of the same thing, right? How much would that be? It'd be $4.50s. How much is 4 times $1.50? What's $1.50 times 2? $3. What's $1.50 times 4? $6. Is everybody okay with that? So now that we have all this information, I'm looking for 2 2/5 or 2 4/10. So I need to take these 2, add them together. Therefore, 2 2/5 of $1,500 is $36. That's mental math. Colby, how would I do that with a calculator? Right, so we're going to change this to, what did we say it was as a, so this as a fraction and as a decimal. Which one do we want to use here? The decimal. So 0.024, which is 2 4/10% of 1,500. 0.024, 2 4/10% of 1,500. 36.